Hello and welcome to News Tonight. I am RHODA NGONZI, on sign language Mugalo Mohammed. We will dig into it. President Yoweri Museveni has received His Excellency Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, the newly elected chairperson of the African Union AU Commission at State House in Entebbe this afternoon. During a meeting, President Museveni extended his heartfelt congratulations and reaffirmed Uganda's continued support to the African Union's vision and mission. His Excellency Yusuf, a seasoned diplomat from Djibouti, was elected chairperson of the African Union Commission in February 2025. He succeeded His Excellency Moussa Faki Mahamat of Chad, who served 2 terms at the helm of the Commission. President Yoweri Museveni lauded His Excellency Yusuf's appointment, calling it a win for regional unity and Pan-Africanism. The two leaders also discussed key issues affecting the continent, including peace, security, and importance of strengthening African-led initiatives for self-reliance. President Museveni emphasized the need to tackle the root causes of conflict in Somalia, particularly identity-based politics and tribalism, which have undermined the establishment of a stable national army. He also stressed the importance of collective welfare for soldiers as a key pillar for military strength. His Excellency Yusuf is currently participating in the extraordinary summit of troop-contributing countries to the African Union Support and Stabilization Mission in Somalia, which commenced on 22nd April and is scheduled to end on the 25th of April. The summit, which is currently happening at Mestil Hotel, Kampala, seeks to assess ongoing efforts in Somalia and chart a strategic path toward long-term peace and stability. His Excellency Yusuf praised Uganda's long-standing contribution to Somalia's stability over the past 17 years. Now, President Museveni has proposed a comprehensive administrative restructuring of Tororo district. The plan the plan includes elevating Tororo municipality to city status and creating 3 new districts to accommodate both the Japadola and Iteso communities. This was reached at during a meeting held at State House in Entebbe and was also attended by the Vice President Jessica Alupo.
For decades, the Japadola and the Iteso communities have been embroiled in a dispute over the control and status of Tororo town. This conflict has hindered development and strained inter-ethnic relations in the region. During a meeting held at State House Entebbe, President Museveni unveiled a proposal to elevate Tororo municipality to a neutral city status. He also announced the creation of new 3 districts, Mukuju, Mulanda, and a 3rd district whose name is yet to be agreed upon.
The cities, because we had sort of halted the cities, because we have got so many things to deal with first, we support the cities, but we wanted to do some economic projects first. That's what I was worried about when Arupo told me on the phone. But it seems now we are not even agreed on that. So, what's wrong with that compromise of yours, which had Tororo City is the one to, because it's the one which gave the district the name. No, it's true, there was Tororo County, but is it not Tororo County because of the other rock? You are now bringing the confusion of Tiberio Okane. Tiberio Okane in the CA wanted us to change the name of Uganda, to call it Nairobi Republic. That when you call it Uganda, you are emphasizing Baganda. I said, no, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. The world already knows Uganda, we are Ugandans. Forget about it.
Vice President Jessica Alupo, who played a pivotal role in mediating the discussions, elaborated on the proposed administrative changes. She confirmed that Tororo City would be formed from the current Tororo North and South constituencies. Additionally, Kwapa and Gongera town councils would be elevated to municipality status. Mulanda district would encompass Budama Central and Budama South, while the third district's boundaries and name would be determined through mutual consultation. The meeting was attended by key stakeholders, including cultural leaders such as His Royal Highness Kwa Adola Moses Stephen Awor and Emorimori Papa Paul Sunday Amolot, as well as government officials and community representatives. The President emphasized that the focus should be on service delivery rather than territorial claims.
Whichever you decide, the crucial points are two. The naming doesn't matter. What matters is the city is now neutral. Secondly, you create two administrative units on the Badama side. And thirdly, I don't agree really with my Bateso, my son from the border, Angura. I don't agree with Angura that you have a parish and you call it a district.
The proposed administrative changes are expected to enhance governance and accelerate development in the region by bringing services closer to the people. Brian Tumwinebiyaruhanga, UBC News.
President Yoweri Museveni has pledged to designate telecommunication towers as critical national infrastructure to curb rampant vandalism that continues to affect communication and service delivery across the country. He made the assurance while meeting officials from American Tower, Uganda, led by Dr. Amina Zawede, the Permanent Secretary of Ministry of ICT and National Guidance at State House in Entebbe. ATC Uganda is a provider of wireless communications infrastructure and operates as a subsidiary of American Tower Corporation, a global real estate investment trust specializing in telecommunications infrastructure. During the meeting, President Museveni said he would direct police to link surveillance cameras on telecom towers with the national security system to allow real-time monitoring and improve response to theft and vandalism. President also supported tougher penalties for vandals, suggesting that if legal administration orders of no bail given to the criminals and vandals are established, it will serve as a deterrent. He urged telecom companies to install cameras and reinforce tower security by using tamper-proof materials. Dorothy Kabagambe Semanda, CEO of ATC Uganda, thanked the President for his support towards their request and pledged the company's cooperation. She proposed that the government prioritize connecting telecom towers as part of rural electrification programs, arguing that once a tower is electrified, everyone along the path benefits. And Minister for Education and Sports, also First Lady Janet Museveni, has encouraged all young people, both in school and out of school, to embrace technical vocational education and training. While addressing the media at State House, Nakasero, on the occasion of the International Day of Education, Janet Museveni emphasized the importance of promoting TVET as a viable career path that nurtures innovators, artisans, engineers and entrepreneurs. Let's take a look.
The Ministry of Education and Sports will commemorate the belated International Day of Education on Tuesday, 29th April, with a special focus on TVET as a key vehicle for youth empowerment and transformation. The celebration aims to raise awareness about the impact and potential of TVET in shaping Uganda's workforce. Minister Janet Museveni reaffirmed the government's belief that equipping young people with practical, hands-on skills is critical to achieving Uganda's transformation agenda.
As a nation, we have localized this theme to focus on promoting an employer-led TVET system which is functional, effective, and efficient to meet the needs of the labor market. However, we must overcome the persistent societal bias that places vocational education below academic education. There is need, therefore, to promote TVET as one of the career paths that builds innovators, artisans, engineers, and entrepreneurs and drives national development from the grassroots.
The Director of Education Standards at the Ministry of Education and Sports, Francis Atima, stated that the ministry aims to boost both awareness and enrollment in TVET programs across the country.
Enhanced skills developed especially for marginalized groups, including persons with disabilities, women and refugees, and policy recommendations for sustaining TVET reforms.
To enhance access and affordability, cadres to the agenda, the Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Education noted that TVET training will now be offered in a modular format, allowing learners more flexibility.
Come in for a module, one specific module, you work through it, and then you are assessed on it. And if you do not have money for the continuous 2 years as we've been having or so, you go back to the world of work, you work. After some time, you think you need to add another module, and eventually you can get the compound certificate, which those who used to be for all the years can get. So that is going to make it more flexible.
Dr. Turiatemba Edi, the Assistant Commissioner for Vocational Training, highlighted that TVET institutions admit specific numbers of trainees due to the hands-on nature of the programs, which require individualized attention and resources.
Technical requires hands-on, and therefore it requires every person who has been enrolled to have either a machine or an equipment, or have a sizable space in order to practice. And therefore, we cannot take everyone at that level.
Hajat Safina Museni, Commissioner of Health Training Institutions, also weighed on the importance of structured vocational training.
To the new law, there is a provision for skills development fund. We are yet to know how this skills development fund is going to help us to see that we overcome the challenge of high cost for TVET training. But all in all, what I want to say is that we have to accept that this is an expensive venture.
The International Day of Education, designated by the United Nations in 2018, is observed annually on 24th January. I'm Navka Farida and Abduna Silwama in Kampala.
Not even the rains stopped the flow of people who continue to approach to pay their last respects to the late Pope Francis. As of 11 a.m. today, Thursday, 50,000 faithfuls have passed through Vatican. Pope Francis still lies in state for the next 2 days in St. Peter's Square Basilica.
Bells started tolling in the morning. The solemn procession of transferring Pope Francis' casket to St. Peter's Basilica, allowing the faithful to pay their last respects, began as the coffin was carried by the pall bearers. Cardinal Kevin Farrell Kalamengo, acting head of the Holy Roman Church, presided over both the prayers and the rite of translation from the Casa Samata Martha to the Vatican Basilica. The mortal remains of the pontiff overnight were being guarded by the Swiss guards established by Pope Julius II in 1506 and has been protecting the popes ever since. guards must be Swiss, Catholic, male and have completed basic military training in Switzerland. His Eminence, Timothy Cardinal Dolan, Archbishop of New York, paid respects to the fallen Pope Francis in St. Peter's Basilica.
We just arrived this morning, and of course, what we wanted to do as soon as we could is come pay our respects to Pope Francis here in the Basilica. Many people are here to thank Almighty God for the gift that he was.
Meanwhile, Keir Starmer, Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, paid tribute to His Holiness Pope Francis in the House of Commons and confirms that he will be present at Vatican for his funeral.
Mr. Speaker, the entire House will join me in paying tribute to His Holiness Pope Francis, an extraordinary man. His lifelong work on fairness will leave a lasting legacy. And people of all backgrounds and beliefs were inspired by his humility and his compassion. And I think the outpouring of grief and love that we've seen in the last 2 days or so shows the respect and admiration that we've held in around the world. Mr. Speaker, I will attend his funeral on Saturday and pay tribute to his courage and to his leadership. May His Holiness rest in peace.
Brian Tumwenebiaruhanga, UBC News.
And Minister Chofa Togavie has made a call to South Sudan's leadership to grant the late Pope Francis's wish of peace in the country. This call was made at Rubaga Cathedral while signing condolence messages for the Pope.
The Minister of State for Kampala, Capital City and Metropolitan Affairs, Kabuye Chofa Togavie, remembers the Pope as a very down-to-earth person who went on his knees to caress the feet of South Sudan's President Salva Kiir and his deputy, and he requested them to keep peace in their country.
Actually, we are going to miss him for that. And you remember, we in Africa here, we remember his humility and humbleness and quest for peace, how he came and embraced the feet of His Excellency Salva Kiir and his deputy, and urging them for peace. It's unfortunate that he has gone when he hasn't seen the long-lasting peace he has been waiting for and he has been requesting for in Southern Sudan. Please restore peace in this country, restore peace in our neighborhood, restore peace in the people of Southern Sudan as a way of standing with His Holiness Pope Francis.
Muslim. But when you see how Pope Francis has been uniting many people, regardless of their religious affiliations, I remember him when he tried his level best to ensure that there is a ceasefire in South Sudan, when he called all the leaders. I've seen him trying to negotiate peace in various countries where there are conflicts.
In attendance was the Inspectorate of Government, Betty Olifkamia, who hinted on the Pope's humility and his intolerance to corruption.
Value that we attach to the pontiff and to the Catholic religion. So I'm very saddened by the death of Pope Francis, but we thank God for the values that he was espousing, the values of humility, the values of frugality, the values of inclusiveness.
On behalf of the ministry and the entire staff of the Directorate for Ethics and Integrity, we convey our heartfelt condolences to the Papal Nuncio to Uganda, the Archbishop of Kampala, and the entire Catholic community.
Make our own decisions,
God has decided to take him. And I think he has taken him at the right time. He feels like, I think, he was ready to go. We just have to place him in the hands of the Lord.
On Friday, 25th April 2025, there will be prayers of tribute to the late Pope Francis at the Rubaga Cathedral. Marion Awori and Stephen Kayumba for UBC.
Now, residents of Tororo are elated following a major development aimed at ending decades of ethnic tension between the Chapadola and the Itaso communities. They have welcomed the creation of a new city and additional districts, saying the move will help bring services closer to the people and foster development in the region.
And all I want to thank you, Your Excellency, for extending a district of Mukuju and the district of Mulanda. Thank you very much.
Right now when I'm talking, I am in Tororo City. So I've welcomed Tororo City with my two hands. I am very happy. So even for us in Mukuju, I've been given a district. That's Mukuju district. And Tororo City. So I am very happy as a religious leader. And I need only peace. And I need to celebrate.
In terms of tribal conflict. But today, as a person living in Tororo, I am so overjoyed to see this achievement. And we believe that this achievement we've got today is going to bring social development, economic development in this region. And our children are going to get jobs. And the development of this region is going to flourish more because a status of a city comes with a lot of development. We are going to see infrastructure development, road infrastructure is going to improve, and we want to hail our president for this initiative.
We are quarreling with our brothers here in Tororo about the district, but now we have heard yesterday, we applaud it. Yes, it will bring work, a lot of work from our children, even our grandchildren will get the work.
Yes. So if Tororo is split into 4, we are going to receive like 4 billion. And each unit will make sure that the road is maintained properly. Secondly, service delivery. Wherever there is a district,
And the closing day of the UBC Strategic Budgeting and Planning meeting for the financial year 2025-26 and NDP4 alignment has been marked by several amendments in the corporation's vision, mission and reinvestment plans. The board of directors is optimistic that reliable financing, infrastructure enhancement and staff retooling will enable total realization of its mandate.
The two-day meeting by the Uganda Broadcasting Corporation Board, Administration and Department Managers has concluded with several action points in line with investing to see the national broadcaster's capacity to realize 100% of its national coverage mandate.
I think today's budget and the strategic plan conference was one of the best I've attended because everybody participated. There is no way you are going to deny that you are not part of the budgeting process. And I'm happy to realize that now UBC strategic plan has been ably aligned to NDP4.
Sitting for its second term, the board is now fully cognizant of the corporation's hindrances, but are glad to report progress as they project success in the near future.
Now, by the government taking on the wages and salaries, staff are now assured. And so the rate of money that we make from the business side, the non-tax revenue, like advertising and other activities, will be used to boost the quality of equipment that we use to facilitate us in transportation and all other innovative things that we need to inject into the corporation.
During the NDP4 period 2025-2030, UBC is planning to roll out direct-to-home broadcasting technology to supplement the current digital terrestrial transmission to see the goal of full national coverage realized.
We are prioritizing transmitters to make sure that every area, whether it's below the mountain or down the mountain or up, they will be able to receive signals effectively. More especially for the radios, because majority of our Ugandan local people do tune to radios more than TV stations.
What is direct home? We have sent the signals to the satellite and make them be received by the end user through a dish, like how DSTV customers receive their signal.
Another key issue the board is prioritizing in the forthcoming National Development Plan is enhancing staff salaries.
The salary enhancement is also definitely a critical issue, and I have been personally passionate about it. But I do believe, one, with national coverage over 100%, UBC should be able to generate revenue which will in turn be used to reward our workers as a way of motivating them. And secondly, if our scientists can be taken care of, because scientists in other sectors like education, they have been given a boost in terms of their remuneration. And therefore our scientists who work with the corporation, we are looking forward to them being rewarded as they have done to all the other scientists in other sectors.
The national broadcaster, UBC, oversees 11 radio stations and 4 TV stations that transmit government-centric programming in over 40 languages across different parts of the country. Wadulo Arnold Mark, UBC News in Kampala.
And the Office of the National Chairman, headed by Hajat Hadija Namyalo, has called on the youth to engage in the coming 2026 general elections and choose their leaders. Namyalo was launching the Settle for Museveni, Say No to Protest Vote campaign, where she mobilized the youth to vote His Excellency Yoweri Museveni and also thanked the youth for their unwavering support to the NRM party.
At their launch, dubbed Settle for Museveni, Say No to Protest Vote campaign, the Office of the National Chairman, headed by Hajat Hadija Namyalo, said as the country heads to the polls, Ugandans should re-elect President Museveni for continued development.
Had several slogans. We had Omalako Jaja Tova Kumein. We came up with Say No to Forceful Transition. Now, as you're still on the main, what next? We are seeing people being diverted by self-seekers. We are seeing people diverting the nation, the country, the people, and even diverting themselves, of which you can't enforce your people on. You can't enforce yourself on people. By doing this, we saw, yes, Kyagulanyi is good. We commend you, you're good. But the nation is looking for the best. And the best is Museveni, because he's trusted, he has been tested, he has been trusted.
Namyalo says the country is now peaceful and stable and only left with a few challenges of bringing all Ugandans on board in alleviating poverty.
The peace, the stability, the social-economic transformation to economic empowerment.
The administration of the Office of the National Chairman also decries challenges of some politicians that still use the youth for their self-interests.
Doing that, someone wants to create disaster, enforcing Ugandans to protest and to stop the vote. Who are you? That means you're doing it for your family, not the nation.
The youth from different universities pledged total support in mobilizing for NRM at their institutions, fronting the president as their sole candidate come 2026.
They're here to settle for the best. Museveni is the best, and I'm urging to all Ugandans please kindly say no to the protest vote, because it's our legal mandate, it's our legal right to choose our leader.
Lydia Chomkama and Joseph Muyingu, UBC News.
And the National Identification Registration Authority has officially taken over the marriage registration function from the Uganda Registration Services Bureau. This initiative is part of government's rationalization of public expenditure RAPEX program.
The National Identification and Registration Authority, NIRA, has emphasized its commitment to growth, transformation and transitioning all barriers as it officially takes over the mandate of handling civil marriage functions from the Uganda Registration Services Bureau.
So for us it is an opportunity to do what we do. We already have 27.7 million people on our register. We are on the threshold of a mass enrollment exercise that will begin next month. So in essence, this is just another one of our people services that we shall experience at NIRA. I would like to encourage the public that, as I've already mentioned, since October, you've not experienced any hiccups and you shall not experience any.
We also thank URSB for allowing us to continue using their custom-made facilities at this marriage registration function. We have to clap for us, and from here we have chance for this.
Describing the transition, officials from the URSB likened the process to a bride moving from one family to another, assuring of a seamless and smooth handover of responsibilities.
The transition has been seamless. About the continuity and the future, of course this is government to government. NIRA will continue to do this work perfectly well because they have all the human resource, they have all the equipment that is required. So I have no doubt whatsoever that anything will change. We expect even better and better and better services. Thank you.
The peaceful and well-coordinated transition was commended by the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs.
I congratulate most especially the parent who is giving away the bride. It's not always easy in an environment like this. We see a lot of protectionism, but this has not been exhibited since October when this started to happen.
In Uganda, recognized forms of marriage include civil, church, Muslim, customary and Hindu marriages.
Big thing about the MTN Super. Wali yakapia musite wali yakapia. MTN kabo de super mustairo mpia. Then you kabo de smartphone nebi akabibiona. MTN kabo de super mustairo mpia. Then you kabo de smartphone nebi akabibiona.
Get the new Kabode Super smartphone and enjoy 16 GB free. Start with a deposit of only 45,000 Uganda shillings and pay the rest mpora in daily installments of less than 1K. You can also make weekly and monthly installments. Together, our vibes are unstoppable. Terms and conditions apply. MTN. MTN is regulated by Uganda Communications Commission.
Step into a world of excellence, comfort and pride with Royal Foam Furniture, crafted to perfection right here in Uganda. We bring you state-of-the-art living room furniture and bedding products at affordable prices. Our wide variety of mattresses include orthopedic, pillow top, spring mattresses suitable for institutions like hotels, and many others for home comfort. With every piece telling a story of royal excellence, our products are built with the highest quality materials made to last. Experience royalty with Royal Foam Furniture, proudly made in Uganda, so buy Uganda and build Uganda. Visit our showrooms at Ginger Road, Chambogo Junction, Bukota Chisasi Road, and on Victoria Mall, Entebbe, on the first floor.
Mera ngenze mbonipa Sam nazanya luto ganyiga star 278 then hash kuja kubanga oyingide mukazanyo nga sente zino zimula wano zina wangu lazino wano milioni 10 kinala mu mukaga ebindi wana soka bila ku TV nange sasoka kikiriza ningamulaye kino kinzo kubanga kitufu oba yaddala tibya bufere sente zona zifunye zona zikoze eki naziwangu te amasanyu ina manji byeto byange byembadde njagala genda bitukiriza.
Uganda National Lottery. Dream, play, win.
Participants must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The Uganda National Lottery is operated by Ituba Uganda and regulated by the National Lotteries and Gaming Regulatory.
Welcome back. You are still watching News Tonight. The African Union Support and Stabilization Mission in Somalia has been hit by a financial crisis barely 3 months since it began its operations in January 2025. According to Banyankole Adeoye, Commissioner for Political Affairs at the African Union Commission, and the mission requires 15 million US each month. However, the available funding stands at only 16 million US dollars, which must be stretched over an entire year. The Commission revealed these shocking details in Kampala at the close of a high-level meeting of African countries contributing troops to Somalia.
Good morning. African troop contributing countries to Somalia alongside partners have spent the past week meeting in Kampala to discuss the future of peace and security in Somalia. The meeting brought together security officials, ministers of foreign and defense affairs, and representatives from the European Union, United Nations Security Council, UK, US, and the Intergovernmental Authority on Development, IGAD. Excellency. Countries such as Uganda, Kenya, Ethiopia, Egypt, Djibouti, and Somalia have all contributed troops to the new stabilization mission. However, concerns were raised over insufficient funding for basic operation needs such as food, fuel, ammunition, and troop allowances.
But the summary is that we need $15 million every month.
According to the AU Commissioner Bankole Adeye, AUSOM's operations demand $15 million monthly, but with only $16 million available for the entire year, the mission is left with a funding gap of up to $96 million.
What do we have available? A total of $16 million as we speak for 1 year, whereas we need $15 million every month. This is the arithmetic that we must deal with as African Union member states, and of course the troop and police contributing countries.
This enormous shortfall has alarmed the 6 troop contributing countries, Uganda, Kenya, Ethiopia, Djibouti, Egypt, and Somalia, as they tabled their reports during the meeting.
TCCs have continued to deploy troops in a challenging environment in the fight against terrorism. In addition, some have deployed troops on bilateral basis with immense sacrifice, resiliency, determination, in the spirit of Pan-Africanism. It is important to address the perennial challenge and sustainable funding for African Union support and stabilization mission in Somalia.
Funding remains the most pressing challenge. While the UN has supported logistics and the EU has contributed to troop allowances, it is evident that we are faced with a donor fatigue situation. Consequently, the mission may continue to struggle if we don't find a solution to this challenge.
Despite verbal commitments to fight terrorism and support Somalia's peace efforts, officials from the UN, European Union, UK, US, and IGAD stopped short of pledging any specific financial contributions to close the funding gap. However, sustaining the AUSOM mission now depends heavily on whether newly engaged partners such as China, Japan, and South Korea, recently consulted by the African Union, honor their pledges and contribute financially to bridge the funding shortfalls.
The transition from ATMIS to AUSOM must not fail. Yes, the mission is confronted to financial challenges. There are still reluctances to implement Resolution 2719 to Somalia. We at the Commission level, we are working very hard to make it happen. We are engaging so many partners so that the UN is starting.
It's important to note that the African Union Support and Stabilization Mission in Somalia, AUSOM, is the latest peacekeeping initiative authorized by the UN Security Council, launched in January this year following the end of the African Union Transition Mission in Somalia, ATMIS, which also struggled due to unstable funding. Philippa Guta for UBC News in Kampala.
And the National Agriculture Research Organization, NARO, has issued a strong warning to farmers in Busoga region about the risk of planting uncertified seedlings. These substandard seedlings are unable to withstand pests and diseases, ultimately leading to poor yields. The warning comes as NARO continues its efforts to improve farming practices and boost production across Uganda.
Speaking during a handover event of quality seedlings to farmers in Mayuge district, Dr. Nasa Kasozi, the Director of Research at the Bujenyanya Zonal Agricultural Research and Development Institute, emphasized the importance of planting certified seedlings. He cautioned that poor quality seedlings had been causing significant losses to farmers in the region due to their inability to resist common pests and diseases.
The reason why we came here is to make sure we also meet other farmer groups which have combined today, as we will see, where we are distributing different agroforestry trees for both climate change adaptation and also other important seed for improving their livelihood.
Dr. Kasozi's warning was echoed by Dr. Kaira Moses, a senior research officer at the Naro Bogizadi Ikure station in Mayuge district. Dr. Kaira emphasized the importance of adopting proper weed control technologies as a vital part of improving yields.
This is a pre-emergence herbicide that was sprayed at planting, and as you can see, the weeds have not germinated extensively up to now. We are aware that weed control must be done effectively in the first 30 days. This crop is already over 30 days, and we are very sure that we are likely to get at least 1.5 tons to 2 tons per acre from this crop.
Farmer groups in the district were handed a variety of seedlings, including fruit trees, acacia trees, soya beans and beans, donated by CPA, Uganda's Busoga regional members networks. The donation aims to support farmers in boosting their agricultural production and diversifying their crops.
Of course, it is all about individual wish. Yes, we request also the beneficiaries that since you have showed up interest, please uphold this
and move further so that the rest of the public can look at you through this initiative and also get the anxiety to do the same.
One thing I want to request, that this is just a drop in an ocean. There is a lot of demand and need in the communities. I want to pray that we may think of us and extend more support as seasons unfold.
The partnership between NARO and local organizations like CPA Uganda is expected to improve farming outcomes for many in the Busoga region. Farmers are encouraged to follow expert advice and use certified seeds to secure a more prosperous and sustainable agricultural future. Sudat Kaye and Vincent Wamundu, UBC News.
And the Parliamentary Committee on Defence and Internal Affairs has maintained the need to fund the sub-county policing model. The initiative is led by funding to a tune of $587 billion in the next financial year. The committee, chaired by Wilson Kanjwenje, informed the Budget Committee of Parliament that Uganda Police Force seeks to construct 69,000 housing units in the next financial year, 2025-26.
The Budget Committee of Parliament, chaired by its Deputy Paul O'Mara, has advanced the scrutiny of the budget priorities of different ministries, agencies and departments through the sectoral committees of Parliament.
The 6 national budget estimates are based on the 4th NDP.
MP Wilson Kajenje, who chairs the Committee on Defence and Veteran Affairs, recommended that the budget allocations for the 20-megawatt Nakasongola solar PV power plant and the defence equipment projects should be separated to ensure transparency and accountability. The projects demand funding of 10 and 130 billion respectively. On the budget for Uganda Police Force, Chairperson Kajwenji maintained the need to fund the sub-county policing model. UPF needs to construct 69,000 housing units.
A deployment minimum of 18 personnel with 2 motorcycles per police station, a counter phone, a radio communication, an office and staff accommodation for at least 18 personnel.
Paul O'Mara, the MP for Tuke County and Deputy Chairperson of the Budget Committee of Parliament, raised concerns why some military officers abuse government stores for individual gains.
How in the world would a civilian who has no constitutional authority, having 2 military vehicles and with military escorts, which means some of this money, Mr. Chairman, which we are giving you, you are asking for, there are some civilians who are benefiting from it unconstitutionally.
The state has so many operatives that if we sit as a committee to begin interrogating into who does what, I think that compromises the security of the country.
Matters of stability, thank you for not seeing it. But I also, the other matters you raised, legitimate as they are, by extension they have budgetary implications, by extension. But majorly they are matters to do with the oversight, where we must hold the UPDF accountable to who enjoys.
Especially when you are using state resources for harassing people, yes. For grabbing land forcefully, for intimidating police officers.
The Committee on Information, Communications and Technology also presented several recommendations to the Budget Committee, including the need to increase the funding for Uganda Broadcasting Corporation.
Then also vital is expanding the digital terrestrial television and direct to home, if we can provide, so that the greater number of the people in the country and outside can have. Then the amount of what is required for the equipment that must be replaced is what I had promised. I would get the details with the UBC and then we provide to the committee.
Just get us a page.
Daniel Mugoya, Gloria Gutabinji, UBC News.
And with that, we take a quick break. When we return, more details.
tukwaniriza waka eri ebisanyusa. Eri Wi-Fi buli wamu. Eri speedi za internet eza waggulu. Eri obukuumi. Eri obuyambi obuli mu ddaala erisooka. Eri okwanguyirizibwa. Tukwaniriza waka eri MTN Wakanet. Internet ensukulumu eri buli maka. Kyalira www.mtn.co.ug /Wakanet. Tukwaniriza waka nga tuli wamu tewali kitulema.
Life in Uganda today comes with so many uncertainties.
Where will Madam get Kameza if I get an accident and can't work? If anything happens to me, what will Junior eat?
Yeah, Kale Musa is still in the hospital. Guy is missing a lot of money here.
With a monthly payment of only 3,000 shillings off your Equity personal account for Equi-Life Insurance, you will be entitled to 50,000 shillings hospital cash per night spent in a registered facility, up to 20 nights every year. And your family will receive 3 million shillings in case of your death. Visit your nearest Equity agent to sign up today or call 0312 327 000 for assistance.
Now in business news, savings and credit cooperative organization leaders across East Africa have intervened in a meeting in Kampala to chart a progressive path for cooperative growth through sound tax policy and regulatory clarity.
The East Africa Circle Regional Meeting has championed cooperative growth through tax fairness and regulatory clarity. Bintu Jalia, chairperson of the Uganda Cooperative Savings and Credit Union, called for an extension of the 10-year tax exemption on SACCO income due to expire in 2027.
That's why we are requesting the government that we need to extend this waiver so that the SACCOs can stabilize and can grow up to even a higher level. So that's why we are requesting the government. And we know the president, because the last two taxes, actually the president gave an order that you exempt the SACCOs from paying this one. Because even the PDM SACCOs, they fall suit.
She emphasized that the tax waiver had not only helped SACCOs grow but had also increased their capacity to deliver financial services to rural and urban communities alike.
Uganda is one of the few countries which is suffering under multiple regulatory environments. The SACCOs are being regulated by Bank of Uganda, they are being regulated by UMRA, they are being regulated by Ministry of Trade and Industry. And this overworks the SACCO because when one regulator comes and asks for a certain report, another one comes and asks for another report, another one comes and asks for another report. That means you will spend all your time working on reports and you will not work on growing the SACCO.
She cautioned that not renewing tax exemptions could derail Uganda's decade-long SACCO growth, now globally admired and closely watched by international cooperative stakeholders.
We want, if all these SACCOs are regulated under one roof by one regulator, then the bigger ones will also help the smaller ones also to grow. Because if we continue being regulated by different regulators, actually SACCOs have started even bringing down their capital, share capital, some even their savings. They have started now withdrawing their savings because they don't want their SACCOs to be regulated by a certain entity. Because there is a threshold which have been put for those other SACCOs which have got 500 million and above, and whose savings is 1.5 billion and above, to be regulated by one entity.
Caroline Willard, President and Chief Executive Officer of the Cornerstone Credit Union League said the exemptions should be preserved for decades to come.
And so a single regulator is critical. In the United States, our structure is a little different because we do have a federal regulator for federally insured credit unions. We also have state regulators, and you can have two different kinds of charters, but nonetheless, there is just one that is the prudential regulator for federally chartered credit union or federally insured credit unions, and that's important that we sustain that. I believe that's a good model to follow really anywhere, including Uganda.
The event served as both a summit of strategy and a celebration of progress. Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
Mutesa Wankulukuku has been chosen to host the finals of the 2025 University League. This comes after organizers had failed to secure a venue due to the ongoing Uganda Premier League. St. Lawrence University faced Uganda Matters on the finals.
The University Football League 2025 edition final is set to be held on Sunday at Mutesa II Stadium, Wankulukuku. The venue was announced at the press conference at Tikatika Restaurant, Lugogo. Two finalists, St. Lawrence University and Uganda Matters University, previewed the strategies they have on table to win the title come Sunday.
I won't say much about Sunday, but what I know, we are well prepared to face any challenge ahead of us.
We are prepared. We've been doing our preparation ever since, and we have played already like 10 games waiting for this final. So there is any big difference. We are going to come play the good football you know about Uganda Matters.
I think we are ready for Sunday, and we pray that all goes well.
This is the second time these two universities are meeting at the finals. St. Lawrence University has reached the finals on 2 occasions before without lifting the trophy. The University Football League not only unites different universities in the country, but equally used as a talent identification avenue for different Premier League clubs. Nabachi Doreen Malaika for UBC News.
Well, and that does it for News Tonight. For now, Mogalo Mohammed on sign language. I am RHODA NGONZI. We do return at 10 o'clock with more details.
UBC, inspiring Uganda. Special announcement from the Baseline Education Census 2025. The Uganda Bureau of Statistics, in collaboration with the Ministry of Education and Sports, is conducting the Baseline Education Census 2025. This exercise will cover all learning institutions in the country for both government and private establishments, namely